Hello dear ones, today is November 15, 2021, and the purpose of this video is to give you a summary of my understanding of what is God. Who am I? Who you are? Who we are? Where we came from? The things I'm gonna say in this video might trigger you. And if that happens, you have two options. If it's trigger you, but at the same time make you curious, I suggest that you can take a look at the description of this video on the books and channels that I refer on this video. If it's just make you uncomfortable, you can use your free will to look for something that will be more in alignment with what you are looking for. So, what is God? God is infinite intelligence. God is the source of all it is. God is love. As I explained before in my video, The Call, what I'm going to explain on those videos are based on my studies from about 15 years, all the sources, books, and workshops that I've been attending and reading, and I have no way to prove it to you that what I'm saying is correct. That's just my understanding. So just keep in mind. All your comments and questions will be welcome. Any malicious comment will be just ignored. So, after say what is God, who I am, who you are. We are a thought in the mind of God. It's like, okay, so how that happened? How old am I? I think everybody that is listening to this video, almost everybody, already have the sense that you are not just a body. You are a soul, you have a soul, a spirit, doesn't matter how conscience, doesn't matter consciousness, doesn't matter which name you give it. You have a sense that you are not just a body. The body is just a vehicle to allow you to have this experience here. So how that happened? God created us. We share God's conscience. We are a thought in the mind of God. How old we are? Are we as old as God? I don't know. Maybe we are a milliseconds younger than God. It doesn't really matter. But when God created us, He didn't just say, okay, now that I created, go and experience, get out source. I don't want you here, go experience and share with me what you learn. No. God created us and we stay there hanging on with God and in happiness and love and peace. And until some of us decided to have some physical experience separation in a body in any part of the galaxy or other universes. So, but after you do that, God didn't just send you the whole of you. Your conscience is so big that you wouldn't fit in a physical body. So only part of your conscience incarnated in the body. The other whole part of you remain with God. That's what you heard about higher self, inner self. That's what they are talking about. That the part of your conscience that's remain with God, that share the knowledge, all the knowledge with God. And when God created us, He created us as He gave us all his attributes. He is a powerful creator, intelligent. He shares all his abilities with us. The only thing that God can create that we can't create, of course, we cannot create a God, and you cannot create other conscience. We cannot, all conscience has the same source, that's God. So we can create a planet, we can create a galaxy. I better don't go there too far yet. Let's keep that for the future. So what I was saying is, when God created you, he didn't just say, okay, get out here. He let us hang on with him. Still there is some over there that never had a physical experience. They still there just experience source, love and peace and happiness. But many brave ones decided to have an experience separated from source. But that separation is illusory. It's not real. We have the body, and depend on the dimension, depend on the planet that you incarnate. From the fourth dimension and down to the first, you can't really remember that you are part of God's conscience. You have to remember it because the law of forgiveness that we have on earth. But after the fifth dimension, you remember that you share God's conscience, and you remember a lot of things and get a lot of God's abilities. You remember that you have those abilities. So over here, what happened to us on earth? We come in a body. We forgot who we are. We forgot that we share God's conscience, but God gives us a map home. He gives us something that we can always count on. He didn't just send us away without nothing. He gave, when we are born, we get two thought systems. One is the ego mind. The ego mind is merely responsible for keeping your body alive. And he gives you the internal guidance system. That internal guidance system is the one that tells you when you are going away from love or when you are getting close to love. If you get away from love, you're gonna have a bad feeling. If what you are doing or thinking is is towards love, and then you're gonna have a good feeling. You're gonna feel happy. So that's the internal guide system. And more than that, he also gave us many helpers that is always helping us, giving us through intuition, helping us to really get to what you're planning to get, fulfill the mission that we came here to accomplish. Some of those you can call them guides or spirit guides or the angels and archangels. They are all around us. If you are in a challenging situation and you call out for help, you call for Jesus, you call for God, you can call for whatever you want to call, doesn't really matter. They are all connected to Source. They are all working for Source. So it doesn't really matter which name you are calling for. So we are a thought in the mind of God, and we came from Source. And we are here to experience separation. We are here to learn how to remember that we are God, that we are part of God's mind. It's kind of tricky, but that's how it is. And by us experience at the same time that we experience and we learn with our experience, we share that experience with God. So I think, okay, I'm gonna explain just one more thing. So we come to earth, you forget, many of us are able to remember who we are. We come here incarnate in the third dimension. I will explain in another video what really dimension means. Dimension is a frequency, a vibration of each thought that we have has a vibration and a frequency, and depend on how low or high, it sets you in a certain dimension. So our thoughts are usually around the third dimension, and to get to God's conscience, back to source, you need to reach at least the 13th dimension. So one person in history that we know that while he was incarnated, he reached the Christ conscience was Buddha. In the body, by his spiritual practice, he was able to reach the Christ conscience. What does that mean, Christ? Christ means see God face to face. And Jesus, when he incarnated on earth, he already had the Christ conscience, and when he came, he did not forget. He came remembering who he was. He came remembering that he was Christ, that he has Christ's conscience, and that he was a thought in the mind of God, that he makes part of God's conscience. So that's why he was able to accomplish so many things when he was here. I think that's all for today. If you like, please share and subscribe, and much love and light to you.